What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is Blazer King with King's Critiques. And of course, preliminary. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe because that does help me out a lot. That being said, today, with 3 weeks left in October, I'll bring a list of anime that you can watch this spooky season. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time and get right off and started. First, a mention of one show. You can only give your time to watch the last episode in school days. I hate the whole of this show with every fiber of my being, but the ending was pretty good. Main characters come up and it's happening. Real list I'll give in the top 10 in mostly no specific order. First, we have an anime that just ended its season 2 with Oshinoko. It started out pretty brutal and creepy and serious and all those kind of vibes. This season was all about the plot of things, but still had a touch of the mysterious and suspenseful, and at least season 1 is well worth the vibes of this month. Though the last couple episodes of season 2 do track pretty close to that, especially with the awakening of one of the characters in the show leading into season 3, which is confirmed already, so next up, speaking of shows continuing on this season, immediate mention for ReZero. From episode 1, it's had a lot of creepy and mysterious tones to it. I mean, have you seen how Subaru is? Man's definitely got a lot of issues going on in life, but it did quickly get into a lot of bloodshed even in season 1, and even more suspenseful and heart-racing moments with the main character trying to figure out how to use his unfortunate powers to save his friends. And to elongate on that, season 1, lots of blood, very brutal, trying to take care of one specific enemy within the first like 10 episodes, and that itself turned into a lot of bloodshed, as well as, of course, him trying to befriend characters who are now his friends, but weren't back in season 1. So, yeah, definitely go check that out, especially because season 3 is already off to a quick start. Next up, uh, bring mention to Higurashi. Several seasons with a pretty much cohesive plotline, too. Only one season is kind of a little slow, but the amount of creepiness, mystery, and blood spilling moments don't stop for more than a few seconds every now and then, even with that slow season. Ever see the scene of someone doing the Night at the Roxbury thing with the into a knife? You know, the yeah, that was this show. That's not even the most violent part of it. Remember the one censorship meme of, blood turned into a white mess? You know the one if you have social media. Yeah, that scene, that was also this show. Not gonna get too much into it, but while some might find the plot confusing in the first season, it does get more, like, understanding later on, but we're here just to talk about violent shows for, and this has plenty of violence and lots of creepiness and mystery. Taking that bit of humor aside, though, we'll bring up at least one video game turn anime that went pretty well in Corpse Party. Not one of the super long ones like Higurashi or ReZero that, is 3 seasons and a movie long respectively. But 4 or 5 episodes in this worked pretty well for a quick boost in the direction of scary, especially if not used to some of the, kind of horror like The Ring or The Grudge or something, where it's mostly the kind of creepy shit going on that can turn into something pretty brutal. Friends happening upon friends' body parts, and oh god, speaking of that, the ending is definitely the most worth it. I mean, it's only a couple hours out of your time. I highly recommend it. Or, if you want to just go play the game, there's several games out for it. Not sure if anybody has the relic called the PS Vita, but I own a game based on Corpse Party on that, so one idea. Now, if at the least, I will recommend Promise Neverland for season 1, because it was phenomenal. Even if the second season was well hated because of how they treated the best arc in the show, episode 1 opens with our main character and co-main character discovering a horrible secret about the home they live in and realize their futures aren't as safe and sound as they thought it should be. Side note, I didn't put into the script I wrote up. I personally liked Promise Neverland season 2. Other than that last 2 episodes, which, yeah, I do kind of get what they meant by it ruined the best arc in the show, because it kind of, like, speed ran it, which sucks. That's anime for you, unfortunately. Back to the old school vibes, I'll bring up another And while it doesn't have a lot of shown scenes of violence, it does fit what we're looking for here. The creepy and mysterious from episode 1, and not too long do we have to wait for the first ominous death of many that occur, which is still one of my and most of the community's favorite death scenes in anime is the umbrella death. And again, you've been on social media long enough, you've seen it, or at least mentions of it. I wish they had seen it shown the after effects of that, but like better. I think they did show that. Well, that was short and sweet. Now, continuing on the older show vibe, and to remind, I'm 31, so calling something that used to air when I was young hurts, but 20 years is 20 years. Death Note. Not quite bloody compared to a lot of these, but still one of the best shows of all time. It only really got kicked out of the ranking for best anime ever, like, I think around a decade ago, maybe a little more than that. Still in the top 3, though, and then Attack on Titan booted Brotherhood down, and that booted this down, and it's just, yeah. But even if the second half was a bit of a shark jump moment, the ending did kind of make up for it, in my opinion. Because while they could have done the ending better, it was still done really well. The simplest way to put it would be to ask, would you use the Death Note if you found it? Because I would. I have at least one very good, reasonable name to put in that if I had found one. And I will bring up a small honorable mention involving Death Note is the Netflix movie is alright if you look at it like a horror movie and not a Netflix or an anime adaptation. Because listen, as an anime adaptation, I'll agree it sucks hard. And a lot of very long phallic things. But I will raise a point. Even with Zac Efron screaming like a bitch, wouldn't you scream if you saw Willem Dafoe in a dark room wearing that makeup? Because, like, I don't know. I'm not averse to a lot of fear, but I think I'd have some kind of reaction if I saw that man with or without that makeup in a dark room. He's a very scary individual. Love him to death as an actor. He's a very scary looking individual. And that's why he works so well as the Green Goblin. But revisiting the popular to hate season 2, we have Tokyo Ghoul. A banger first season. Like, solid plot, plenty of blood, a baddie in episode 1, Reprise. Our main character goes from an innocent college kid who just wanted to date a hot girl and one of the most badass flesh eaters to exist in anime. And like, even if the first season was mainly his arc of not being a bitch, still a top tier show, especially because the last episode of season 1 was not even his peak, it was just an awakening. His peak came like somewhere along the next, which is kind of funny. Actually, wait, no, was it season 3 people hated? Was there 3? Whatever. People hated parts of this show because, I don't know, they just didn't like how it went. Even though from the scenes I've seen of the manga, it fit pretty close. Whatever, still high top recommended. Now, a bit of a downside in my recommendations, but this show has kind of the highest body count of any of these I've already said or will say. It's a rough ending, but, you know, whatever. Platinum End was made by the same people who made Death Note. And the plot was pretty solid for the most part. A couple of slow moments, awkward moments, but it was pretty thrilling and bloody, and the ending kinda hurt in the why bother way. So, like, not really for us viewers technically, but just the overarching thing of the plot. But hey, if you want something entertaining and bloody, this is definitely up there. Like, don't look at the ending as seriously as some might. Quick honorable mention, well, 2 of them, are Happy Sugar Life, which, yeah, morally on the high key is the scariest thing of all with this show, but you know what? Looking past that, there's a lot of creepy undertones with the show and overtones with the main character's flashbacks and stuff. And like, I enjoy yanderes, and the main character is one of the biggest when you think of it. So if you look past, like, her target, it's still a good show. Just, like, ignore the obvious. Like, I ain't quite down for that much on it, but still a fun one. The second honorable mention would have to be Mirko-chan. You first look at it like, hey, this is just your average slice of life, funny, cute anime with girls doing their thing, and it's like, oh wait, no, this girl can see ghosts and ghouls and demons and all that kind of stuff, and well, most of them are pretty harmless. She soon discovers that her suspicions about these things are pretty on the spot. Right now, there's only a season 1 out. I do hope one day we get a season 2 because honestly, I think the ending did kind of hint at a possibility of that. But there's still an ongoing manga, or at least it ended not too long ago, I think. So, if you're a manga reader, go for that. It's just a very good story. And then on the fun ones visually, we have Danganronpa. Only a couple of seasons, so sadly, not every season of the anime took from the games, but at least the first season did. It was incredibly entertaining to watch the mystery of it all. You know, who killed who, the who did what, and trying to figure out who exactly is Monokuma. But the various ways that people were expelled from the school of the greatest ever was probably the most entertaining part. Whether it showed a lot of blood or not, it was still a lot of various entertaining death. Now, if you guys want, I can also go and do a fuller explanation about any of these shows I brought up other than what I already had mentioned. I can also make another list for, the thriller or suspense with less of the horror aspect. Because, I mean, those are kind of a thing. Not any I can think of off the top of my head, then like 2 that were already on my possibilities of things to add to this list. But still, I did try to stick mostly to the horror-y aspect, the actual gore, bloodsheddy kind of stuff, because it more so fit the Halloween vibes. But even if I need to repeat it a show or 2, I can figure it out. That said, enjoy your spooky month in hell. If need be, it can slip into November too. Nobody minds, nobody cares. And on topic, the horror movie Thanksgiving, while not anime related, pretty good fucking movie. Like, first 5 minutes of that movie, masterpiece, honestly. That said, however, please don't forget, leave any of your horror movie recommendations, or horror anime recommendations, or just anything horror recommendation wise in the comment section down below, because other people might enjoy to see things I didn't mention, or I might enjoy some more suggestions to check out. With Junji Ito, while it's an anthology, it is still pretty creepy for the most part in most of the episodes. Not immediately recommending that. And while that Uzumaki show I've heard various results about, it's mostly based on art direction that I've heard complaints for, and to be frank, it's Junji Ito. Like, the art style is usually similar, so if the animation quality drops, it's probably just to add effects onto the art style as it was to make it better. I could be wrong though. Anyone who's seen that new ongoing Uzumaki show could correct me. That said, however, like I said in the beginning, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the gaming channel in the description down below. I need to try and find some kind of horror game I could play over there. Especially that doesn't involve turning on my PS4, because very few reasons don't do that. Especially with the way my gaming attentions have shifted, but that's a whole different conversation. Ring both bells like Facebook, Paltry, keep updated with things that the Patreon. You can do so. Most of my anime stuff is going to be uploaded onto Patreon for the full visuals shown. And I've gotten better about scheduling that ahead, but if you want a particular show to be uploaded onto the Patreon so you can see visuals better, do let me know that in the comment section down below. Because if it encourages the people to, go join it, I'll upload whatever y'all want. Or be something I uploaded months ago or something I'm uploading now. And of course, go follow Twitch, subscribe there for my pets can do so Twitch Prime for free. I do still plan on finding something scary to play there, even if I don't upload to YouTube. That all being said, spend the Blaze King with King's Critique. Sound, ta.